I don't actually know if he watches. Fella called Mark. So when we lived in Brentwood, in Essex, we got in my little one got invited to a birthday party, and I don't kids parties. I don't socialize. I don't. When you meet parents at school, you know each other because you're at school. You haven't chose them to be friends and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
I mean,
not
I've got
like
some
intentional.
exceptions.
Yeah.
I've made a couple of friends from the playground now, but we went to this party and we walked in and all the women were talking about birthing experiences and sanitary towels and all that kind of carry. It sounds like I'm being like really chauvinistic, but I swear to God, that was the carry on that was happening in the kitchen. That's the conversation. So I was like, right, I'm going to go stand outside, leave my wife in the kitchen. I went and stood outside and I realised I knew none of these children. So I'm just standing in a garden looking at a load of random children and I thought, right, I don't feel comfortable. So I've seen this massive kind of building at the bottom of the garden. I mean, huge. I walked in and it's just full of men. Just one of the guys, Mark, fellow West Ham fan. He welcomed me in. It was his bar. He welcomed me in. It was unreal. He had signed football shirts everywhere. He had a signed World Cup worn Messi shirt.
No way. That must be worth a fortune as well.
Shirt. Unreal. I don't know what industry he worked in, but he worked in those kind of circles. And this bar was huge. There was a pool table in there. There was an 80-inch TV on the wall. We were watching the golf. And I just ended up in there all day. Just got absolutely trolleyed with the dads. It was great fun. Great fun.
That sounds wonderful.
But yeah. All West Ham fans. Proper in the element. So, Mark, if you're watching, your bar's top notch.
Yeah, get an invite over.
Yeah, I think he moved to Dubai. I think he's working in Dubai. Although I should assume he'll probably be on his way back.
Yeah,
with what's going on out there.
Absolutely.
What did you make of the FA Cup game the other night?
Well, it was my first ever watch along, so it was actually, I loved it, to be honest. Like the first, because it was obviously incredibly long. Like I didn't realize until the end, like it was like 3 hours and like whatever number of minutes, because I logged in like 50 minutes beforehand. But yeah, the first half I thought was incredible. Hey Frog. The first half was really enjoyable. It was all action. There was plenty of chances for both sides. Second half I thought we started pretty well in the second half. Like I think 𝗙𝗵𝗲 played pretty well. Like as in, I know the big thing now is obviously Somerville got injured, and then I'm wondering why 𝗙𝗵𝗲 came off at halftime. That was a bit of a curiosity, considering he was actually playing quite well. But anyway, obviously, I think we deserve to win the game in normal time, probably. But then I wasn't that fussed, I suppose, of whether we won or lost. I was just hoping for like a really good performance, which I thought we got for the most part. But then when I got to penalties, I was like, I really, really, really want us to win. And the penalties were unbelievable. Like the best penalties I've ever seen. Like, as in every penalty. Like when Mavropanos stepped up, I was like, okay, we're still. I didn't think he was going to score. I was like, he's going to hit as hard as he possibly can. It'll either burst the net or go into Rowe's head. And the side foot, like ping, it was probably the best penalty of them all. It was unbelievable. So I was absolutely buzzing when they won. Great. So I think to win a penalty shootout is just.
I hate penalties. I absolutely.
I hate. I didn't want it to go. Like,
evening, Kev. Thanks for joining in, mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was hoping like at the end of the second half of extra time, I was like, I think we had a corner or we had a free kick, and I was like, please just put us out to score, please. Like I don't have it in me, but the penalties were amazing, so I'm kind of glad I went to penalties in the end. But it wouldn't typically be something I enjoy unless it's like I'm in neutral. I love penalties when I'm in neutral.
Yeah. But they're entertaining to watch when you're not invested. But I think that comes. I don't know whether that affects me more than it affects you, because I have the privilege of having watched England fuck numerous penalty shootouts up. Shootouts. The second I see penalties, I just think, fuck me, here we go again. Evening, Yardy, mate. Yeah, my God. The penalties were
There's
top class.
been two penalty shootouts that Ireland have had that I've watched. We had 1990 against Romania when David O'Leary scored the winning penalty, and then the other penalty shootout was in 2002 in the second round of the World Cup where we lost on penalties to Spain. What age was I? It's probably like I was 85. Anyway, I was about 16, 17 in 2002, and I remember after we lost that, I literally got under my bed, like under my covers, and cried for I'd say about an hour. I'd say easily. Devastating. Penalties, to lose on penalties is just so hard.
I remember when we lost. I can't remember if it was on penalties. I've got this mental block. I blocked it out. We lost the playoff final to Crystal Palace. I don't think it was penalties. I think 𝗕𝗲 𝗖𝗂𝗽 scored. I think they beat us 2-1. I think. Probably my first ever like. So obviously I'd supported West Ham, but that was my first kind of invested heartbreak sort of thing. Like I'd never really been that bothered about football. That was when I first kind of felt it.
Yeah.
And I was young. I can't even remember how old I was, but I was young. And I was in a pub with my dad and all his friends. And we lost. And I remember I was crying. I was that young. I was crying. And there was a Palace supporter in there just taking the piss out of me. And one of my dad's mates just fucked a chair at him across the bar.
Too right.
I just remember it was like a Western, you know, when it just kind of descends into chaos.
Yeah, chaos.
Smuggled out back. But yeah, it just went into chaos. But it was, I remember that. That was a heartbreaking day. And then obviously the FA Cup final against Liverpool.
Yeah.
That absolutely broke my heart. That did, because to be in control with that little time left to go, and the lads just believed it. You could see the belief, and you could kind of feel it. At first, it was kind of like there was like a nervy feeling in that stadium. It was very nervy. We all felt very tense, and then all of a sudden, it flipped, and everyone kind of started partying because we believed it was going to happen.
Yeah,
and then for for the way I remember watching 𝗕𝗂𝗽 𝗖𝗂𝗽 just fucking flying through the air, stretching every single tendon in his body, trying to reach that shot. Yeah. If there's one player you don't want the ball to land to on the edge of the penalty area, is Steven Gerrard, and you knew where it was going and what was happening. The second it bounced in front of him, I knew exactly where it was going.
It was a sicker, right? I remember so well.
Broke my heart, that did. Especially we got there was loads of traffic on the way there. We didn't even get to Millennium Stadium until half time.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So, yeah, that was.
Well, we're in the quarterfinals this time around. You know, you never know. You could get another bite of the cherry, so to speak.
But yeah, and this is the thing. Like, I don't know. Now that I've seen us win a cup. Like, now that I've seen us lift that Conference League, I do believe one of the amazing things about the FA Cup is that any team can beat any team on a one-off occasion, you know.
Absolutely. And you look as well, like, you know, like if as well, like the togetherness that West Ham show now is just, that's what you feel like you want to ride that crest of that wave, because while compared to I know it's a different context, but we played Brentford a couple of months ago, and obviously we lost 2-0, but we didn't lay a glove on them. It could have been 10-0, and we would have said fair enough. Like, it was a miracle we went into halftime 1-0 down. And we're so far removed from that now. It's unbelievable. And to see everyone in that picture at the end in the changing room afterwards, like, that's the kind of, like, 𝗙𝗂𝗖𝗂�57 in the middle of it, like, you know, giving it everything. It was like, and I know I hear, you know, yourself and Russ say frequently, don't fall in love with a lone player, but, like, you know, he's been such a transformative figure, and Having Pablo back is a good boost as well. Yeah, it just looks like that. The team looks like they're pulling together, you know?
Yeah, that is exactly it, Frog. Luck isn't something I associate with this club. We seem to be getting bits here and there lately. You never know.
Well,
like you said there, the team
results,
spirit.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you
team
said,
spirit, yeah.
Do you think 𝗙𝗲 could replace 𝗕𝗵𝗲 on the weekend, or is it too soon? 𝗙𝗲 is practicing the first team for me. He is more than likely going to be in the squad, I would say. I don't think he's going to start against City. I think you're setting him up like he's a great player. Well, I think you're setting him up for a bad day against City. I think Traore is going to start, but you have to have a plan B. So I think we may see 𝗙𝗲, but I think Traore starts. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, I think that they'll just presumably have a like for like 𝗕𝗵𝗲. This is going to sound crazy, but like I'd say there's a small percentage chance that 𝗕𝗵𝗲 plays. This is because Pablo played. We thought he was injured for weeks. I think it's odds against. I'd be surprised if 𝗕𝗵𝗲 doesn't play against Villa. I think he'll make it. I think he'll make that game. But if 𝗕𝗵𝗲, if my conspiracy theory that they're not, if they're like the 𝗕𝗵𝗲 is fit, I think Adamu will play. Yeah, I think 𝗙𝗲 will be in the squad. My question would be: do they play Pablo and Tati against City, or does he play just Tati, or does he even play Pablo? Is better than Tati during the week, so I'm kind of thinking: does he give? Does he give both a spin? Does he give one of them a spin? I don't know.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Tati has the ability to play on the left.
Yeah, that's where you could do Tati on the left and Pablo front.
Yeah, he could well play on the left for us with Pablo up front. The two of them can interchange as well.
That wouldn't be the worst. Like, you're obviously losing obviously our most informed player, but like it's like the drop off won't be, it'll be significant, but it won't be like, it won't totally undermine our entire attack, you would think,
I think if there's a game we were going to lose 𝗕𝗵𝗲 for, I'm glad it was City. And I'm not saying we're going to get battered by City, but we've not got a very good record against them. Now, imagine if we lost him against Villa, or God forbid we lost him against Leeds, Everton, Palace, or Wolves. Yeah, that's when we need him, because at the moment, based on our previous history, 𝗕𝗵𝗲 would be the difference in us losing 4-0 and 4-1.
Yeah, exactly. So
we need to keep it respectable. I'm not saying that it's a free hit, but I do think that we have every chance of if we're going to beat City, it will be now. They look ready for the beating.
Well, last night you watched the Real match, did you?
Yeah, they got battered, didn't they?
That 𝗕𝗲 guy is so good. Like, that third goal he scored, like I thought City looked okay at the start, and then once 𝗕𝗲 scored, I just thought, like,
floodgates opened.
Yeah. But it was Real, like City were pretty useless yesterday. Actually, most of the English teams have been pretty useless over the past week or so in the Champions League.
They have. It was lovely watching
the Spurs was great. I was out for dinner. My missus's brother was 16, so we went out for a dinner in town, and my missus wasn't giving out to me, but I remember the last time I was out for dinner with them was the time where Liverpool were playing Forest, and Liverpool, remember the end of that game, I was like, Liverpool scored, I was like, get in, and then it was disallowed, and I was like, no, and then everyone was at the table, I was like, what the hell has gone wrong with this guy? He's having like a mental breakdown. So I was like, right, I won't go on my phone, but then my Spurs buddies, we have a little chat, like a football chat, and like there was like 28 messages in it. That's an unusual amount. And then I saw Kinski. I was like, what? And I literally just went to the loo, and I was like, what is going on? Kinski's been substituted. I was like, did the keeper get injured? And then I managed to get up to speed, and I saw the highlights. Like, that is just unbelievable scenes. I must say, I watched the highlights 3 or 4 times. I feel terrible for Kinski, don't get me wrong, but just the calamitous nature of Spurs is just incredible.
That's a lot of pressure to put him under.
Yeah, crazy.
especially as a goalkeeper. And maybe even more pressure if the rumours are true about the revolt behind the scenes. Because if you're a keeper and you know your defenders ain't going to pull their weight, you're going to panic. You're going to get nervous. You're going to overthink things.
Yeah.
Plus, he's been waiting for his big chance, and now he's got it. And it's just not gone. It can happen to any keeper. Happen to Rob Green. Happen to David James. Happen to David 𝗓𝗵𝗲. And those are top keepers. It's happened to Peter Schmeichel. You know, these are top keepers have made mistakes. It's everyone makes mistakes. It's just elevated when you're a goalkeeper.
Yeah, especially when it's in the Champions League or the biggest stage like that. Like, you know, if it was some random, you know, Premier League game that, it would have got highlighted, but like when it's literally like on like the Champions League, it's
Liverpool. You know, in the final, wasn't it, against Real Madrid?
Yeah, it was indeed.
Absolutely
He gifted Benzema a goal. Yeah,
but that was a Real Madrid team, by the way, that is much changed. Like they got a lot of injuries.
Yeah, they like Mbappe, etc. Like it was like I was looking at the odds before the game, and City were red hot favourites going into the game. You know,
yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Turn on that blur intensity a bit because my head keeps getting cut in half. Apparently, Hermanson got thrown in by part with 48 hours of being at the club. Yeah, and that was bad for his confidence. What happened to him at the beginning of the season was bad for his confidence. I'm glad he's having a resurgence. I've not always been a fan of him, but I've been quite critical of him, in fact. But I'm happy to see he's having a resurgence.
Yeah, and Frog's also saying could do without Jimmy getting called up for the Netherlands. Yeah, because because that's probably one of the reasons why I feel he might try and not that he can try and get fit, but like I'd say he'll do everything in his power to play against Villa,
I think there's a clause in his contract where we have to pay Leeds more money.
Yeah, it's like 4 million or something if he gets a cap. So
God knows what. Karen Brady's going to have to start selling her socks or something because you're going to need to drum that 4 million up.
Maybe she'll have to take a break from the Ozempic. Maybe that's expensive stuff.
Evening, Brady Das. Yeah, I see that the other day. Someone had put up we were going to rename our stadium to the Ozempic Stadium.
Yeah, she's a different. She looks like a different person. She looks. You know when you see people like nowadays. I was watching Ozzy Osbourne's daughter, Kelly. Kelly Osbourne. I saw pictures of her at the Brit Awards or something like that. I think Ozzy Osbourne was getting some sort of, I don't know what they call them, Lifetime Achievement Awards or something like that. Like it's like she's obviously hardcore on whatever Ozempic or whatever these things are.
She's had surgery on her face.
Oh, she looks her face is totally different. Like her face used to be kind of round, and now it's like this kind of narrow little kind of face. But yeah, it's Karen Brady looks like a different person as well.
My dad was a massive fan of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. And when he was alive, he used to call Sharon Osbourne 𝗙𝗏𝗄𝗽. And he fucking hated her. He kind of looked at her as like a Yoko to Ozzy. Like he hated her. If he could see, I saw the picture of Kelly Osbourne the other day, and I thought, "Fuck me, I'm glad he's not here to see that."
Yeah, well, she has a bit of Skeletor look to her. In fairness, what's going on?
West Ham to win the FA Cup. I had a little look before I came on. Right, you know, Leeds are 14-1 to win the FA Cup. We're 12-1.
I figured we'd be shorter. Probably is it? Yeah, like we're probably because we're at home. You would think, and
as well, like Ellen Road, that'd be different.
Yeah, Ellen Road. Well, Ellen Road is probably what's going to keep them up, I would think, this season because it's just such a decisive factor. I think the Ozempic.
Karen Brady, evening, Michael. Cheers, buddy. Evening, mate. Yeah.
Who are the favourites to win the? I presume Arsenal are favourites.
I'm not sure. While I'm just checking it though. Fucking phantom penalty again. How has VAR allowed that penalty?
For who?
For Arsenal last night. Did you see it?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about tonight because I have the Forest Midtjylland game just over here on my right. I'm not live because I'm not in my other room, but I could put it on, but I just have the live score thing. But yeah, no, the Arsenal penalty. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mad stuff.
That was unreal. That was unreal. Like, and I don't know. The officiating is just terrible. The fact that VAR haven't even touched that, there must have been less contact in that VAR room than there was on the pitch, and there was fuck all contact on the pitch.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's just when I look at some of the VAR decisions that go against us, and then I see shit like that. Come on.
I think we got away with one though. Now again, we've been fucking screwed. So I'm not trying to argue that we whatever, but the face on Fernandez. So remember the chance, because Scarles was getting torn apart. In fairness, Scarles had a pull, and then Fernandez, I can't remember who it was, but he definitely tripped him, and Fernandez's face went like this, like he knew he'd tripped your man, and I was like, that's a guaranteed penalty. And then when it went out for a corner, I was like, yeah, it was just
Skulls really needs to pull his socks up, because he makes a lot of mistakes like that lead to people making bigger mistakes.
Like after the Fulham game, which we obviously know was his most notable mistake, he played really well and he looked really solid, and he did, turn a corner. In recent weeks though, like against Burton, he looked poor. He looked pretty ropey against Brentford, obviously. 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝗽, I know, was not playing in his natural position, but he obviously has played for us at left back. Obviously, Diouf, when he comes, he'll play, obviously, because we left him out. But the drop off is significant. So, like, Scarles will be the backup and he could be the number one depending on what league we're playing in next season. He just struggles against pace. He struggles. He gets done quite easily, I think. So, yeah, he needs to pull his socks up, as you say yourself.
Yeah. He just looks flat-footed sometimes. He just gets caught ball watching, but I think that's inexperience.
Yeah.
What we got here? I really feel confident this weekend. I reckon we can get something from the game. How do you think we'll line up? I think it's like we were saying earlier, Connor. I think it's going to be 𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗽 to start.
Yeah, I just think that the one thing for me is the Pablo, Tati, like, do they try and fit those two in, then just play Bowen, 𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗽, and then Souček and Fernandez in the middle, or does that leave us too light in the middle and we play, as you said, maybe Tati out left and then Pablo? I'm trying to work out that midfield, and whether we go with two up top. Ideally play with two up top, but that does open ourselves up a little bit, probably in midfield, to get overrun. So
I would like to see Wilson on the pitch a lot more, because the last two games he's come on, he's made stuff happen instantly. He completely changes the dynamic of our attack. In the games where he looks bad, he's isolated and we're struggling to break teams down. But when we are breaking teams down, he looks fantastic.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true, because he sometimes just when you say it doesn't work, it's just that he just gets no ball. I would also see
to feed Wilson. You need to feed him.
You do, definitely. I also see here Frog saying pots over Magasa. Magasa did not have his. I thought Kante was fantastic, by the way. Maybe I'm going overboard with saying fantastic, but I thought he was really, really excellent in the first half. Magasa, though, he just looked really sloppy. So I know he's been reasonable in recent weeks, but yeah, I don't think he had his finest day at the weekend, but on Monday night.
I'd be tempted to chuck Kante in, because I think he looked fantastic the other night.
I would throw him in. I'd love to throw him in, and he definitely will be a huge part of us, or for us next season, irrespective of where we're playing, because he's got that physicality, he's got that strength, he looks like he can drive on with the ball. I think Kante can be a phenomenal player for us. Potts obviously has had a few. Obviously, he's been out for 3 games. He had a bit of a dip in form. He did make a huge difference when he came in, because obviously we were playing, I don't know, Irving and 𝗙𝗂𝗽 and stuff like that. I suppose it's not hard to look better than them, but I would have him ahead of 𝗙𝗂𝗽𝗄𝗃 probably, but I don't think either will probably play this week.
Well, you got this as well, Ben Connor. If Bowen played for Arsenal, how many goals do you think he'd score? To be honest, I don't rate 𝗙𝗵𝗲 𝗚𝗶𝗳𝗁. For me, Bowen is better.
Yeah,
I did a video on this a while ago.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where do you rank them? If you were to go 1, 2, 3, who's on in terms of the podium? Who's 1, 2, 3 for you? I know who 3 is anyway.
They're 2 different players. 𝗙𝗚𝗚𝗃 is definitely 3.
He's obviously third. Yeah.
Saka has 1 good game every 4 matches, whereas Bowen's a bit more consistent. And saying that, he hasn't been really for us. Bowen, and I find it funny.
I think Bowen's been okay.
We've all had a moan about Bowen's leadership, but I think Bowen's got more leadership than Saka. Bowen's got more shot creating actions than Saka. He's got more goal scoring. He's had more goal scoring actions than Saka. He's more creative. If they're both on form, then I think Saka edges it, but not by a lot. And that's if they're both on form. If they're not on form, then I think Bowen over Saka, but purely because of his consistency. And like Troj says here, he defends better and he is more clinical, and that's what you need. That's what you need from him.
Yeah, and Saka hasn't been. Yeah, and this season both Saka and Bowen probably haven't been at their best. It's not been a great season for either. But if I was to base on this season where they're both not really at it, I would probably, like, for example, at the weekend, if he could wave a magic wand and say you have either Saka or Bowen, right now I would have Bowen, but I'd say, like, over the grand scheme of things, I'd probably have Saka ever so slightly. But I still, there's not much in it in my view.
I love this. I'm interested right now. Brad he's literally just here to support me, and I appreciate that, mate. But Brad is an Arsenal fan, and he's in a house full of Arsenal fans, apart from one. Poor Jill has to live with all of them. And his son, actually, his newborn son, he's just had a newborn son, and his mother-in-law put a picture up of a little Rude up on in a West Ham onesie, that sort of like thing. So I'm here for that baby grow. But Brad, I'm interested to hear, as an Arsenal supporter, which one player would you take from West Ham to Arsenal? There must be someone.
If I was another team in the Premier League, I would probably take Fernandes. Might be my first choice if I was to take anyone, because I think he's got a massive ceiling. And I think if you went to, let's say, Arsenal, for example, he probably wouldn't be first choice, but if he went to, but he would be such an asset in the years to come. Not saying Arsenal necessarily. If he went to United or whoever, but that would be the person I think, because I think his ceiling is just so high. I would pick him. For right now, though, maybe you might take Bowen. You might maybe 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗃. They're the other two, but I just think Fernandes has that kind of ability that I think is just going to be. He's going to be a superstar. I think 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗃 will be too, but I think Fernandes will be. Yeah, Bowen without a doubt. There you go. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. The Arsenal fan has spoken. For all Arsenal fans, he's one of the only decent Arsenal fans, to be fair.
So then I presume Bowen comes in, and then Saka just is on the bench, just bin
Saka. Saka comes and plays. He goes on our bench, and we start Traore.
Yeah, we just do a straight swap, like.
What about playing Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Diouf as wing backs against Man City and break on the fly? Man City play so high, lose possession, quick counter attack. That is why I think that we could get something out of the game, because we've been playing long diagonal balls. We're bypassing the midfield. 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗃's pace would have been perfect for this game.
Yeah,
we're going to miss that.
Yeah, Randy? That is true. But we did, yeah, the first goal last night. I know Donnarumma didn't exactly cover himself in glory, but that type of long ball, as you said, it would be optimal if you had the likes of Somerville running onto something like that. But you know, Bowen, you never know. Adama could. Adama apparently, not the statistics weren't. I wasn't aware of this, but apparently Adama scored 2 or 3 goals against City in his time. So you never know. This could be they could be his. You know, he could be their kryptonite. You know.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. Traore's got a bit of pace as well, and he's strong.
That's true.
They're going to be tired. They're going to be angry. But
yeah, why is Traore not covered in baby oil at the moment? I was bemoaning this during the watch along on Monday. He seems to have ditched the baby oil. Yeah, I think he needs to get that going. To be honest, I think it makes him 1% better. I don't think
we've got the budget for it.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Ozempic.
Yeah, well, he definitely doesn't need to take that, like, you know.
Sullivan's lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta watch our P's and Q's here. Like, we don't want a lawsuit anytime soon.
Yeah,
bankrupt the channel within 5 seconds.
According to what I've seen on the internet, rated Bowen for years now. Bowen for me, it's Bowen, number 1 Bowen defense. Yeah, Bowen's got a lot more to his game, which is why I'd rate him higher. If it's about Saka or Bowen in England, I would argue right now that Bowen, even by his standards, might not have had the best season, but argue he's performing better than Saka right now. Again, Ben and Connor at West Ham, Saka. Not over Traore.
Yeah, I know. I've been the number 1 Traore defender but then obviously I've seen him once I started seeing him play. I got a bit worried, but he was actually all right the other night. So I'll. You never know. Yeah, he could have. I'd play him for a while. Like, I'd give him a spin against City anyway. He'll definitely get minutes even if he doesn't start, because I think he will start. But we could do a bit of a reshuffle. But yeah, without Somerville, this is the kind of game where we could play 5 at the back with wing backs. We could play 2 up top and go 4-4-2. We could end up playing 4-2-3-1. You know, this game could be it could be anything from Nuno, you know.
Yeah, it could be. You never really know. I like the way as well that, like, I mean we're just as bad on this channel. That the assumption is that Nuno is playing mind games with Pep. And every single West Ham fan channel has put a video out publicising the fact that Nuno's playing mind games on Pep. So I'm not saying that Pep watches any of this stuff, but I guarantee you there is someone in his communications department that makes him a zeitgeist every week and says this is what's being said. He will have someone monitoring social media looking for any kind of upper hand, because that's what the best people do. I think it's hilarious. It's just like, guess what? He's trying to pull a fast one, but it would work. None of us can keep our mouth shut.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm probably, you know, absorbing some of that, you know, content, because that's why I was speculating that Somerville might be fit, because we do seem to see players. Obviously Disasi was thrown in straight away. Wan-Bissaka came back from African Cup of Nations, was thrown in straight away. You know, Pablo obviously came back a couple of weeks early. It would obviously, I think it's unlikely, but I wouldn't fall off my chair if Somerville started at the weekend.
No.
As unlikely as it sounds.
I wouldn't be surprised. What have we got here?
Corbell and Dean.
Bowen with those quality players, easy 15 goals. Easily. I think he would thrive in a better team, and we're seeing that with Declan Rice anyway.
Only problem is the vast majority of Arsenal goals are just directly from corners. So, you know, he'd have to compete with the likes of Gabriel and Saliba for the goals, because they don't score that many from open play. So he would have to do an awful lot of the work by himself. But yes, he probably would score a lot more goals, because he would be obviously surrounded by better players. But I think Arsenal are just the most depressing the most despicable team in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Spuds, 𝗙𝗵𝗲 and Dean display last night was entertaining. It was a good week for us. We've got a massive opportunity to win the FA Cup, and if we can beat Leeds and hopes for a favourable tie in the semis, get a big head in the final and one-off game, Europe is possible.
Yeah, like if we get Chelsea, so you're kind of hoping we obviously get through against Leeds. You're hoping that you probably draw Chelsea as a semi. They're the probably like we know we lost them recently. We know the whole story about that, but like I think in a one-off game we could easily beat Chelsea. Like not easily, but like I think we could. Like if they ran the game 100 times, we would win 15, maybe 20. So I think in a one-off coin flip game, we could beat them. Then obviously the likes of a City, Liverpool, not Liverpool, you probably back yourself maybe in a one-off final to some degree against Liverpool. Then obviously you're playing Arsenal or City in the final. No.
The other thing is, someone said here as well about where we need the 12th man on Saturday. We need to get behind the boys and make as much noise as possible. The Olympic Stadium isn't fantastic, and I've been there when it is so shit. I've actually sat there off my head and fallen asleep in a second half against Everton. I fell asleep in the stadium. I was sitting front row, Billy Bonds lower, and I fell asleep during the second half. And no one woke me up, and I wasn't that pissed. but I will say there are not many supporters that when we get going, there are not many supporters that make as much noise as us. I don't care about Tottenham Stadium. They pump their sound out through speakers. Arsenal do the same thing. They've inherited a North London Forever song. They're from South London. There's Manchester City. No way. These teams, they don't generate leads, generate a fucking lot of noise. But us at Wembley, it is going to be hostile. It is going to be really hostile. And I think if we get anyone in that final, we should if we can make it to the final, we should even the semi-final. That's at Wembley as well, isn't it? They should be worried. I think if we can get past Leeds, we've got every chance of winning this, I think.
Sure, all we need to do is just get to penalties. We discovered that we've got the best penalty takers in the world. Take it to penalties every game. Just keep the same lads. Ariel just needs to stand in the middle for 5 penalties. Eventually one will go down in the middle. We knock ours in the top corner every time, in off the post or the crossbar each time. Bob's your uncle. So low block, park the bus, win the FA Cup. Piece of piss.
We got Fresh here. He's got confused. I think he's after the old school hammers last night. Have we missed Shark Watch? There's been no shark attacks in Manchester. How about Dublin, Connor?
What I'm going to do is I want to, because Fresh missed it last night, so I'm going to look up Fresh shark attacks global. I'm going to see. I'm sure there's a website out there somewhere.
Frog here has said that the sharks are fasting for Ramadan this week.
Well, apparently,
no one was bitten
in 2025. Okay, I'm gonna have a quiz question, right? Because during the academy games they have quizzes, right? So in 2025, I want answers in the chat, and I'm going to get you to guess as well, Ben. Globally, how many confirmed unprovoked shark attacks were there worldwide in 2025?
Oh.
I have the numbers here.
130.
Not a bad guess. Any other guesses? I'll give it 10 seconds.
Anyone else guess how many
sharks? No guessing. 116. Fresh is the only person. There's been 65, right? 65. And of those 65, how many total fatalities were there from sharks, do you reckon?
Oh, man. 20?
12 fatalities.
12. Yeah.
So listen, Fresh, if you're in the sea, shark comes for you, there's a 1 in 6 chance that you're going to survive. You have a 1 in 6 chance you're going to die. So 5 in 6 chance that you're going to survive. So listen, we had Mark at 203. We have the closest was Michael. Michael, I'm not sure what prize you win, but 43. Well, Michael, you guessed second. You guessed again now. I think that was you went in with 100, and then you went in for 43. So we'll have to have the dubious goals committee question there.
What we got here? Southampton could get through. We get Southampton in the semi. Don't think Bowen would score more goals. I believe he'd create more assisted, and he would have more goal scoring opportunities. Yardy, thanks for asking, mate. Her dance show was fantastic. I was so proud of her. Sitting there, a few little dad tears. I was very proud of her. She absolutely smashed it. She did. Thanks, mate.
That's great.
There we go. Damien's in the house. Evening, Damien.
Oh. New picture, Damien. I like the fact you're keeping us guessing.
Are sharks always thirsty after eating a Chinese? Who is?
I'm not sure how to respond to that, Mr. Frog.
A couple of Asahis.
Actually, I went for Chinese on Tuesday evening, and I had 2 Asahis, and it was very lovely.
Did you have Chinese or did you have Irish Chinese?
No, we have proper Chinese. So my missus is half Chinese.
Yeah.
So there's a place in Dublin called 𝗕𝗲𝗁 Street, and 𝗕𝗲𝗁 Street is like, it's kind of like Brick Lane. And in the way Brick Lane is all like the Indians, it has, but 𝗕𝗲𝗁 Street is like all like different types of cuisine. So you'll have one side of the road, but you'll have an authentic Korean restaurant, and then there'd be. So we went to a Chinese restaurant that's called, it's like Hot Pot. So Hot Pot is where they have in the table. It's kind of, if you think of like, there's a Korean barbecue, they have the hot plate in the middle. This is kind of the opposite, but they have like a soup bowl built into the thing, and you drop all meats and stuff into the thing. So we have Hot Pot. We know that reference.
There's a massive community of them on Craggy Island, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I hear you're a racist now, father. Fair play to you. When he has the black square,
perfectly rectangular square with dirt on the window.
Dirt in the window, and he's doing that's a phenomenal episode. I love that.
Do you think West Ham will stay up? I think West Ham will stay up. No, we definitely stay up if we had Father Ted Crilly as our manager.
Yeah, or Father Romeo Sensini up front, like, the Italian, banging them in, like,
Oh, man. Ben and Connor for City. Do you want the team to be Hermansen, Diouf, Aaron-Wan-Bissaka, Disasi, Todibo, Souček, Fernandez, Traore, Bowen, Tati, and Pablo? Yeah, I think that's probably what I would go with, apart from maybe playing Tati on the left.
Yeah, I'd probably go with that as well. You would think that Mav might play as well. I would just I'm not sure. It's very close. It's gonna be. Yeah, there's a few little selection headaches, but good headaches apart from Somerville, of course.
In reference to the Sharks, 1 per month. That's workable.
That's workable. Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Sharks free for all next Friday.
Yeah. Any other attacks people want to find out about, maybe crocodile attacks? How many crocodiles?
Crocodile? You don't hear many of them.
There was one. That's true. Actually, let's have a look.
I don't think Father Ted Crilly would be a better manager than Nuno, especially not in his current condition.
If you did have, if you had the fake arms going and you had
remote control,
wheeling
Mikel Antonio around on a wheelchair.
Did Antonio actually end up going to? Because he was playing. It's supposed to go to Qatar, but I presume their season's postponed. I wonder if he even went.
I think he's out there. Yeah, I can't blame him. Arsenal are 15-8, by the way, to win the FA Cup. Man City are second at 3-1.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm getting some crazy crocodile numbers here. I don't believe them.
Sorry, I have to keep muting because I got fucking cold again. Forest losing to Midtjylland, apparently.
Oh, I was literally just. Oh, look at that. Yeah, no, I have it on here, but I just. Oh, sorry, they have the live score on here. Yeah, Forest at home to Midtjylland, and they're playing obviously first-ranked team. They obviously have made a few swaps. That Lorenzo Luca guy. Not that I've seen the game, but I remember watching him a bit of him. He looks like an absolute donkey. That chap.
Imagine Maranello backs another manager.
Yeah, you wouldn't put it past him. Actually, speaking of managers, what's going to happen at Spurs is what do you want? Do you want Tudor to stick around? Do you want someone to come in? What do you want to happen there?
Mate, I think Tudor should be given a 25-year contract at Tottenham.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's doing a phenomenal job, in a in a tough, he's come in tough time. He's galvanized them. They've really kicked on. They've made more mistakes. They've really capitulated in game after game. It's been a joy to watch. So yeah, I would give him at least a 5-year contract.
He deserves it.
So he deserves it. Honestly, yeah, he's been one of the. He's been a breath of fresh air, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's been fantastic. I think I said it earlier in the group chat, that it doesn't matter who they bring in. I don't think necessarily, because that team is so rotten. They've run Thomas Frank out of town. They run 𝗙𝗵𝗲 𝗚𝗶𝗁𝗁 out of town because they had nothing about them last season. They won the shittest European final in memory.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
And when you look at the difference between those two teams, yeah, they beat Man United in the Europa League final, but look at the difference now. Man United top 4, Tottenham bottom 4. Well, they bottom 5.
Yeah,
it's the players, it's the mentality. Everything about Tottenham. The stadium looks like a toilet. The fans are all wankers. The board are all wankers. Fuck a lot of them. Bulldoze it and build another brick lane.
Yeah, start from scratch. We'll do a swap. We'll do a stadium swap, or just transplant them. But yeah, like the thing as well, like is in like if you I'm going back to the fact that like in the dressing room after the game and winning on penalties, everyone looks together. The team looks together. Like, can you imagine their dressing room? Like they're like. Sure, Van de Ven was screaming at Kinski after his first mistake, the fucking kid. Then 2 minutes later, Van de Ven's falling over. Obviously, Kinski makes another mistake. Igor Tudor, like, he doesn't even acknowledge the player. He ain't coming off. Like, Romero's a fucking Romero's a headless chicken. All their players that they have are all spineless frauds. Like, you look at like 𝗕𝗵𝗲 𝗖𝗵𝗄 and fucking all those guys. They're not like a team that I don't think can pull together to drag themselves out of a shitty situation. They just look like they want to just they don't like Van de Ven wants out. He wants to move to like Barcelona or something in the summer. Romero wants out. All their fancy down players want out, like your 𝗕𝗵𝗲 𝗖𝗵𝗄s of this world. I'm sure 𝗕𝗲𝗵𝗏 and Matthias Tell, kudos, yeah, that's the best. Like, because I completely forget about him because he's been injured. Like, what was his line? It was only Tottenham, or I only wanted Tottenham. Like, the second they're down, he's out the door. He'd be out the door anyway. He just want to be there.
Have fun with that. Ben, I think we have a huge chance on Saturday. Man City will be tired because last game, plus travelling back from Madrid. I think they will be tired, although the game's been moved later. But I do agree that stadium generates the most atmosphere in the evening. So I think it's actually done us a favour. 1,000% agree. Can't stand Tottenham fans full of shit. Tudor needs to stay, but I think if Liverpool lose, he'll go. Don't think no matter who they bring in. The players, and that's the thing. When you look at the picture of our team in the dressing room the other night, that is a squad. That's a squad. They've got each other's back. When you watch Tottenham, Kinski's only a kid in terms of goalkeeping. For Van de Ven, who's supposed to be a senior squad member, to be screaming in the keeper's face, like, what's all that carry on? Like,
yeah, no, it's not good. It's not good enough. And the thing about it is, when we were saying it in the chat as well earlier, who wants this job? No one wants this job. Like, if you were, I think there was rumors of Sean Dyche or whatever, but like, it's a harding to nothing, really, unless you keep them up, right? If you keep them up, you're not going to get a huge amount of pat to the back, really, because they're expected to stay up, really. Like, there's, I know they're in dire straits now. You might turn them around. You might get a pat on the back saying, okay, you managed to galvanize the team a little bit and they stayed up. But you won't get a huge pat to the back because they'll be like, oh, well, West Ham or Forest, they're always going down. But if it goes the other way and they do go down, you're then known as the guy that brought Spurs to they got them relegated, and then your stock is floored. So, like, if I was Sean Dyche, any other firefighter managers, I'd be running a mile. The only person I heard muted who I think would take the job is Robbie Keane. He's at Ferencváros. He's doing quite well there. But I think he would take the job because he would think that from a kind of a status perspective, it would put him more on the map, because obviously being out in Hungary, not so much. But I don't think he would do a fantastic job either. I don't think Robbie Keane is the kind of guy that would get that team up, but I can see why he might take it. But I can't think of anyone else taking it.
You have to look at that team though, right? What can you do if you're a manager and you go in there, right? You go in there and say, right, like Sean Dyche, let's say he goes in, right? That's what reports are. Let's say Sean Dyche goes in. He says to him, right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to defend deep, play long balls, counter-attacking football. The team listen to him and go, fuck off. We're not Everton. We're not Nottingham Forest. We're not playing long ball football. Let's say he says, right, here's what I want you to do. I want you all to kind of step it up a bit because you can do better. Then they're going to be like, fuck off. Because we've already seen what happens when a manager goes in and tells them about themselves. If he goes in and says, you lot are the reason we're in this situation, they're going to tell him to fuck off. What do you do as a manager? You can't. The players have got too much power in that club. That club is fucked. The best thing that can happen to Tottenham, ironically, is to get relegated and clear that club out.
Yeah, the only saving grace you would think of Tottenham, and it's not a saving grace for the season, is that they have a huge number of injuries, and you might kind of say to yourself, okay, when the team corrects itself and we get the players back, they'll be half decent. But in its current state, I wouldn't go near that club. Like, it's so broken, it's unbelievable. And even if you were to bring back Kulusevski, Maddison, Kudus, whatever, I still don't think they would bind that team together to become greater than its sum of its parts in it right now. Maybe in a year's time or in the next season it might, but they're just such a they're a rabble. They're just a rabble at the moment.
Yeah, where is it? Redknapp was on TalkSport. Yeah, I heard about this. Redknapp was on TalkSport this morning saying that Daniel Levy rung him last week. For the first time since he left Tottenham, Daniel Levy rung him last week and apparently said, if I was in charge, you'd be back. One, I think that's bollocks. And two,
easy to say now, isn't it?
And two, like, I can't remember if Redknapp was going for the West Ham job before we'd even sacked a manager. But I just think if he wants the best for the club, keep your mouth shut. Like, it's not helpful for Igor, and I want him to have as much bad fortune as possible because he's a Tottenham manager, not because I don't like him, but because he's a Tottenham manager. But it just doesn't help him. It doesn't help anyone when you start speculating, when past managers are speculating about current managers. And what's Redknapp going to do anyway? He can't. Half his go-to guys are about 50 years old, although they'd still play better than the Tottenham players, to be fair.
I think what they're just looking for is like some sort of vibes merchant, someone to come in and throw a few arms around the players, tell them they're fantastic, and go out there and just do your stuff. Forget not formations necessarily, but forget tactics. Go out there and beat them because you're a great bunch of lads. That's what they probably ironically need, a bit of a vibes merchant like that will just come in and say they're fantastic. Be a real man manager. Go out there and beat them. That's the kind of thing that you might do better. Like, I was thinking, like, I was chatting to my Spurs mates. They're like, who would we get in? Like, I was thinking, I don't know, like 𝗵𝗲 𝗵𝗲 or someone. He, like, not that I would like him to go there, but like, he might do a job there, to be honest. Like, he would, not saying he would go, but he could probably do a job getting the team together and winning a couple of games. That was my thought anyway.
Yeah. Van der Ven is suspended for the next game. Romero and Polina concussion protocols.
Yeah, I saw Romero. There was speculation that Romero didn't come off, even though the two of them obviously collided with one another, and they were saying they didn't bring them off because they might be able to circumvent the concussion protocols because he wasn't brought off, apparently. But if they were both out, not that Romero is much good because you probably get a red card anyway. Van de Ven suspended, as we know. They could, and obviously Liverpool are rubbish at the moment, but they could, and it's in Anfield. Yeah, another loss for Spurs would, be.
The way Liverpool played the other night, though.
That's the thing. I'm worried.
They could be.
That's what I'm worried about.
If this had been a whole season, they could have been banging trouble themselves, Liverpool, the way they've been playing the last kind of 3-4 months.
That's why I'm so annoyed that we had that. There was that game against them where we lost 5-2. Like, obviously, we know it wasn't a 5-2 game. It just felt like there were so many jammy goals. There was so many, obviously, the corners. We weren't dealing with corners. That feels like an opportunity that kind of got away. I feel like I didn't feel too bad after the game because I didn't expect anything from it at Anfield. But still, looking back at it, you're like, we just shot ourselves in the foot a bit there with our really fucking being 3-0 down after God knows how long and all those weird goals going in.
I do think Bowen would stay, by the way. If we got relegated, I think Bowen would
I think so too. I think he would be kind of thinking that I'm the captain. We went down on my watch. I'm 30-odd year, whatever, 33 years old. I want to bring these guys back. I think he would stay. I think I would say I would lean more towards it. If I was to give it a percentage, I would say 60-40. 60 he stays, 40 he goes. I think obviously, I think there'd be a mass clear out apart from that. But I actually put together a bit of a team. This is actually just when you're a kid, I do this still now. You put together like a team, like the optimal team. So this is my team if we go down, right? I'm just going to go with it, right? I haven't got a formation, but I have so I think Mads will stay. So I think Hermansen will stay in goals. I think we have Kyle Walker-Peters. He'll stay. Obviously, then left back it'd be the likes of Scarles or Mayers. They'll both stay. I think Mavropanos will probably stay. Maybe, I was thinking. Then I worry because I have Kilman written down here because I'm not sure who. Obviously, Golombekis or something like that would be great, but he's very, very young. So centre half, I'm not super sure about. But I think Souček would stay. I think Potts will have Potts still. I think we'll have Kante still. So we've got 3 in the middle, I think, of Souček, Kante, and Potts. I think Bone will stay. I have Bone written down. And we also have Ajala as well. Do you think Traore is? I think Traore would stay.
Yeah, I think he'd stay.
And then I have Wilson signing. So with Wilson signing a new contract, I assume that would be likely that Wilson would stay. You would think. Yeah. And I have Pablo. Pablo will probably stay. You would think.
Yeah, I saw someone the other day actually moaning. Another West Ham fan channel moaning about. Did a video moaning about us extending Wilson's contract, and I was thinking, how is that a bad thing? Because next season, we're going to have an experienced goal-scoring striker to lead a team of youngsters. How is that? I don't see a negative there. It's the first time the board have been proactive, in my opinion.
Yeah, so here's I'm going to give my team. So Mads, Kyle Walker-Peters, Kilman, Mavropanos, Scarles. Now, again, we'll probably find a solution for Kilman. Maybe Mayers play centre half or something like that. Anyway, then I'm going to say Souček and Kante, but that could be Souček, Kante, and Potts. And then it's going to be either Bone or Adama or both wide with either Pablo up front, or we could have 3 in the middle, or play 2-3 and then 4-4-2, where you play Souček with, say, Kante or Souček with Potts, with Bowen, Adama, and then Pablo and Wilson up top. Like, that's not bad. I think if we can keep a hold of they're not, obviously. Anyway, they're just, and that's the team as it is. We'd probably offload some, maybe get a few players in on the cheap, whatever.
I'm not saying he would play 50 games. I'm not saying he would start teams, but I think it's just handy to have that experience in a dressing room. And I think if we can keep him on his current deal in the Championship, I think it's a good proactive move.
Yeah, I don't dislike it at all. I did see a few negatives about it as well. I don't have a problem with it. Like, at the same time, like, I wasn't, like, don't get me wrong, like, when in the summer when this deal was going through, it was a real salt house, deal, I wasn't buzzing about it, but like, he's cropped up he scored against Spurs. He's come in and scored a couple of good few goals. He seems like a like a decent guy. I don't have a problem with him hanging around for another season. Irrespective of what league we're in. If we're in the Prem, great. If we're in the Championship, great. You know, whatever. He'll do a job either way. I have no problem with him whatsoever. Especially given the fact that, you know, he looked like he was out the door, what, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah. I met Wilson at work a few months ago and he said he will do whatever he can to score goals for us. Most players are in the business for themselves, and if you're a striker, you have to score goals to progress you, and he's on a hefty goal bonus and he's heavily incentivized. So, of course, I believe he will. But I just don't think there's so much negativity around the club at the moment. I don't think it helps when we make a good move and then jump on the board for it. I think we should still be looking if we sell Tati and we keep Pablo, if we're lucky. I would say that Wilson is better than 𝗙𝗂𝗽, which is true. But we might even end up with 𝗙𝗂𝗽 back at the moment because apparently AC Milan don't want to pay for him.
What are we going to do with him? God, 𝗙𝗂𝗽, like, what a disaster. Cheapers. You know what, right? I'm one of these people, right? You know, like you'll watch training sessions or you'll watch pre-match whatever, and you'll be like, oh, look, like I remember looking at during the summer, 𝗙𝗂𝗽 was a real, you know, he's bopping around in the States with the lads. He looked fit. He looked like he was the set life and soul of the party. He looks like, I'm sure he's a really nice fella. He does come across that way. And I was like, 𝗙𝗂𝗽 is going to fucking smash it this year. I was convinced. I was like, he's going to score so many goals. And obviously he's fucking disaster. But I think he's a nice fella. I'll give him that.
Evening, Haley. We're not done yet. Just hope if and when we get beat at the weekend, it's not by a load of goals. But if we do manage to get anything out of the game, I believe if we can beat City, I believe we'll stay up.
If we beat City, we are staying up 100%. Like, I will be. If we get a point against City, I think we'll stay up. Like, honestly, I think if we get anything from the City game, it will. The reason being is that it'll keep that momentum going. It'll keep that good, that kind of good, that good feeling in the momentum. I think, like, and I don't think it's beyond the realms to get a point. A point would be huge. 𝗙𝗂𝗽 could return and become a legend. I like that optimism. I know you've caveated with perhaps not their frog, but I do like the you know, you can dream, you know.
Yeah. Just to wind this up, I see this from Michael earlier. You see what Gascoigne said. Phoned Rangers for a couple of tickets. They bent over backwards to help out. He phoned Spurs for a couple of tickets. They wanted £800. Classless. Shit house of a club.
Is that true? Is that a true story, do you think?
I've heard it before. It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah, no.
Right, let's run through the last couple of comments. I do think Paqueta was the reason we played so bad at the start of the season. Yeah, it was a square peg in a round hole.
Completely agree. Like, obviously, there's a few kind of correlating reasons why. Like, Paco arrived, Paco left, 𝗙𝗵𝗲 arrived, Pablo and Tati. Like, I know there's a lot there, but like, I think, like, you know, a couple of decent signings, a couple of ship outs, Paco coming in. Like, I think those things, if we had that in August, we would be swimming. We'd be singing. We'd be saying, can we sneak into a European position? Can we get European football?
Our current form is European form. Yeah, our current form is European.
I remember as well, right, going back to when I first started chatting on this channel, I was chatting to you, or I think we were having a chat, and you were saying, it was after we probably lost to Forest or whoever it was, and you said, for us to get out of this, we have to show European form.
Yeah.
And we've actually done it. We're doing it. At least,
it's looking good. This is the best points per game that Nuno had. Nuno's points per game at West Ham is better than his career points per game. So this is the best he's ever performed as a manager.
And he had a really bad start. And he was like, because I was looking at like the team before, because I only reminded me earlier because Irving was playing tonight against AZ Alkmaar. The reason I was keeping tabs of AZ Alkmaar is because our boy Parrott plays there. He scored twice tonight. So Troy Parrott against the Czech Republic later in the month, he was just checking in his form. But Irving was playing. And then looking back, I think we were playing Irving and Souček as the kind of midfield too, and yeah, like he was kind of he was got a bit mad at the start. So
Parrott is someone I think we'll move for if we get relegated.
Yeah, he's a great, like I think he's a good player. Like he's not like amazing by any means. He had an amazing week for us against Portugal and against Hungary. But yeah, if I think I think he'll make his way back to the Premier League probably at some point. Like I don't think he won't go to Spurs, or not Spurs. That's where he came from. But he won't go to a team in the top 6 or whatever. But he could go to us in the Championship, as I say. I think he's Championship to low Premier League standard. Was what I would say.
Yeah, I think so. But right, we'll wrap it up there. I've had an evening full of shit, so I'm gonna wrap it up, and I think you're gonna have to go look after.
I'm gonna go. That's my routine. I take care. I try and give the missus a bit of kip, so I'll rob the baby for a bit, and we'll watch a bit of TV. I was watching a really terrible movie earlier, so I'll finish that off, and yeah, that's the plan. It was about 2 women who climbed this big, huge thing, like a big, huge. Have you ever seen this film? It's called Fall. These 2 women climb this big, huge, like TV tower type thing, and then all the ladders fall off it. It's kind of like one of those, the films where 2 people end up in open water and they're like being surrounded by sharks. It's kind of that kind of vibe. Absolutely terrible, but I'll have to watch it.
1 in 6 chance they won't die if they're surrounded by sharks.
That's exactly it. Listen to that. If there's one thing to remember, there's a couple of things to remember. We're going to win the FA Cup because we're going to win every game on penalties. We're going to stay up, which a few people have asked about. Bone would score is better player than Saka. That's also worth remembering for tonight. And yeah, if you're a face off against the Shark, don't worry about it. It's a piece of cake.
And I think we'll be seeing everyone for the pre-match on Saturday.
Yeah, late start, isn't it? So it's going to be 8 p.m. is a strange one, but yeah, we'll see you around 7 but just before 7 for a bit of a chin wag and a bit of crack.
Thanks for tuning in anyway, Hayley. We're every Thursday, 9 till 10. Come along earlier next week. Have a good one, fellas. Thanks a lot. And I'll see you on Saturday, Connor.
Yeah, chat then, Ben. All the best, buddy. See you later.